And we're back. Jay Goldberg, Anthony Feor, and Adam Zivo. And just before the break, we were talking, and we were told that, maybe Canada can grow up a little bit. And you're not full of, confidence on that.
No, I think I'm confident about the fact that we can try to stand up on our own feet, but I know that it's going to take time. And the projections that we had from earlier this year suggest that Trump's tariffs could cost Ontario hundreds of thousands of jobs and drive our unemployment rate back to the level that it was during the pandemic.
Do you realize now people watching this show are saying, really? You know what? We saved part of the British Empire, World War I. We had the biggest navy in the world at the end of World War II. We are a nation. We're doing all kinds of great stuff and great people and the most resources in the world. Why are you saying there's a doubt there that we can stand up on our own 2 feet?
Well, I mean, these achievements happened a century ago. What I look at is economic
data. So we turn into wimps.
No, I think that we can try to be strong, but there's only so much that we can do. We have to face economic reality. And the fact is that we are dependent on the United States. Unfortunately, we should have diversified our trade. We didn't. And now we are reaping the consequences of those decisions.
No, there's no question about that. We are reaping the consequences. We find ourselves in a bad place with Trump. He's hammering down on Canada. I want to put it then back to you, Mr. Opinionated. Are you still not full of confidence that Canadians can really come out on top of this?
I'm probably the most confident on the panel, maybe, that our country can bounce back from this and be more self-sufficient. Of course, I'm a friggin' Canadian. I'm not an American, and I don't want to be. And I know what Donald Trump is doing.
Are you calling Adam an American?
No, I'm not calling him that at all. His is based, obviously, in economic data. Mine, I look at the same, probably, data, but I have a different opinion. I'm a Canadian first. I'll always be patriotic, and I think we can bounce back. But I think we're not a proactive society. We adapt. We are not proactive.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes.
I'm sorry. We are not proactive?
No, we're not. We're not. We haven't
been. Do we apologize too much?
Pardon me?
Do we apologize
I never said,
too much?
well, yeah, I do think we do that, especially when I bump into the pole in the parking lot. We're not a proactive society. We are an adaptable society. So we adapt when things happen. We don't see the future. We can't see something like how you just mentioned, 21% tariff to interprovincial trade in this country. Nobody sat down and thought, maybe this is kind of stupid and we should be changing this.
We have all those brains in Ottawa, all those brains in the provincial capitals.
You're being generous again, Stephen.
Now they're saying, oh yeah, no, let's do that because Trump has got his finger on our neck.
So here's a question then. Why do we wait until there's a catastrophe to realize we should have done something? Why did it need to be a pandemic before we realized we were low on PPE across the country?
We are too polite. Maybe it's that we're too polite.
I don't know if it's too polite.
Or we had blinders on. Yeah. But now that there's a guy down in the Oval Office who is kicking us, shouldn't we just sort of rise up and say, yeah, we can do it? We've got all this stuff. Jay, you agree that we can?
I think we can, but I think it's going to take, as Adam said, it's going to take a lot of effort. And the question is going to be, how fast can we do this? How serious are we as a country? And there's a lot of things we should have first ministers. They should have met already. They should have had an agreement already to tear down those interprovincial trade barriers as soon as these tariffs were a real threat. And it was clear. We had this 1 month delay and they decided we're going to appoint a fentanyl czar. And I don't know what else they did for that month. In that 1 month, we should have had an agreement to tear down all of these interprovincial trade barriers. They haven't done it. They said they're making progress. Where's the beef?
Or, as Ronald Reagan would say, tear down this wall. But we haven't had, are you saying that we've had very, very poor leadership in the Prime Minister's office for the last 40 years?
We've had poor leadership. And then you want to talk about international trade. We signed the Canada-U.S. Free Trade Agreement in the 80s under Mulroney. You ended up with NAFTA, but that should have just been the beginning. We should have been expanding trade all over the world. We shouldn't have been waiting decades to free trade agreement with Europe and other nations.
We've been trying, but you know what? We seem incapable of doing that. We should have had one in Britain after Brexit. What a natural trading partner, the British. And we don't have it. Why? Oh, I'm sorry. We're Canada.
Well, I think it's important for us to believe in ourselves, but at the same time, being realistic about the challenges facing us is not unpatriotic. Patriotism is understanding that we're in a dire situation and we have to be desperate for solutions. And we can't just, wave this all away by saying that we're just going to force ourselves into diversifying trade right away. We're in a tough spot.
Oh, there's no question about that. We're in a tough spot, and we're going to have some of the answers when we come back, because I'm going to be in a tough spot unless we break for a commercial. Right back after this.